Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is Joanna, the Medium channel, and I'm Joanna. I am your medium and also an intuitive coach. These are going to be your general messages for September 2017. Few things before we go into your reading. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who have been my loyal viewers, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you so much for purchasing your private sessions. I can't thank you enough. And I do what I do because I love helping all of you. So thank you so much. For those of you who are new, I hope that you find what you like here. Perhaps you were guided by a fluke to come to this channel, and hopefully the messages that you hear will resonate with you on some level. Because these messages are general, they will not resonate with all of you. And sometimes they will not resonate with you at all. Sometimes certain parts will resonate with you, and sometimes the whole message will resonate with you. And from my experience over the last almost 2 years of doing these videos, what I'm getting from you is that they're substantially turn out to be quite personal for you, and I love hearing that. But if you want a private session, of course, that information is down below for you. And for those of you who are getting back to me and asking me questions pertaining to the general message readings, I cannot get back to you and I cannot answer your questions because these are general. So it's impossible for me to tune in to every single individual. And even if someone does connect with me and ask me a question about a video or message in a video, it's impossible for me to get that information. Also, for information or for videos that are long term, you can of course go to my Vimeo On Demand page, where I have videos from July until the end of this year posted. That information is also down below for you. Also, on Monday, September the 4th, on my show, radio show, I will be interviewed by my beautiful friend Stephanie. She was on the show previously, and she's going to throw questions my way. I have no idea what they are. This is a complete surprise for me as far as what the content of her questions are. So stay tuned. This is going to be an exciting show because I have absolutely nothing as far as prep time. It's just going to be what it's going to be. So tune in. And for those of you who can't tune in, that show will be posted. I will post it on this channel, so it will be available for you to listen down the road. The information on the show, if you want to listen to it live, is also down below. And if you want to book a private session, there is a icon that will appear to you right there at the top, or there's information regarding my booking or the way to book appointments. Also, that information is down below for you. And you can see the name at the bottom of the screen, joannathemedium.com. You can go into my website or to my website and contact me from there. And last but not least, I am expanding, I am changing. Spirit is pushing me in a new direction, a more expanded direction. So over the next few months, you will see a lot of changes to my site, a lot of changes to the way I work, huge additions that will benefit you. So over the next few weeks, I will post a video on what those changes will be. And it's exciting for me because it's going to be offering a lot more services for you. So stay tuned. And I think that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for liking, sharing, for subscribing. I hope you like these videos, and let's go on and start your reading for September. Stay tuned. Hello Sagittarians, welcome to your September intuitive reading. I actually have 5 cards that fell out, so I'm just going to work with it. I felt that it was important to keep all of them. I'm using 3 different decks, as I mentioned at the beginning. When I was connecting with your energy and asking questions about your sign of Sagittarius, rising, sun, and moon sign, I kept seeing number 6. Number 6 obviously is 6 and June, but the energy of 6 is very much nurturing energy, an energy of appreciation and an energy of responsibility. And the responsibility is something that I wanted that is being underlined. So once we go through the entire session with the reading, we will see how that fits, so to speak. But at the same time, when I look at the numbers, which I was asked to add together, it comes to number 4, which is all about structure, putting forth new foundations. It is also about stability. It's about the groundwork for something that's to come. Interestingly enough, I saw an image of someone playing soccer. And so those of you who play soccer, maybe this is going to connect much more than to other signs. But with the soccer, there was a competition was the message here. So some of you may find yourself in a competitive environment in the month of September or in the next few, I want to say 2 to 3 upcoming months. This competition or competitive situation may be work related. I also hear stress related, but this competition seems to be much more work related than relationship. There's very much a feeling of needing to have something done before somebody else gets to it. So I mean, this can translate itself in various different ways, but there's a feel of competition here. You feeling like you are competing against someone, which could be obviously in sports, or it could be that you are competing in a situation that you're trying to get something done in order for you to get a contract, a job. This could be competition regarding a career move where you are competing with many like-minded individuals and the competition is quite stiff. So I did hear that very clearly. Now, if some of you are finding yourself in a competitive environment, it also can imply that the competition is as a beginning of something new to come, which is putting forward brand new structures. So for example, if you are competing with a competitor in order to get some kind of a contract, that contract would be then a brand new beginning, which would require you to put forth new structures and new foundations. So that makes perfect sense. Same with new job. If you are competing to get a certain job, a certain posting, if you will, starting that job would be significant with regards to you putting forth brand new foundations, because it would be a brand new foundation for you if you got this job. So I think you understand what I'm saying. So that was one thing that I was seeing. Some of you being in a competitive environment. Because with that message, the other thing that I'm hearing is have faith and believe in yourself that you can do more than you think. So there's definitely a feel of you needing to be more certain about yourself, have more conviction within yourself, and certainly believe more in your talents and in your gifts than maybe you give yourself credit for. So that's one aspect of the message. The other thing I kept seeing is that some of you will be, it's a time of harvest. September is a 9th month, but I saw very clearly you are looking at your surroundings, and and the situation around you is such that it feels like it's harvest time. So harvest to me represents reaping rewards for something that you have worked for so hard and so long, which is also seeing the fruit of your labor, if you will. So it's a time of reaping rewards, and it's a time of fruition. And the image I had was actually you reaching for an apple from the tree. And in order for us to have an apple from a tree, there is time required to have the planted tree. The tree has to come into a certain period where it can have apples, and it all happens in season. So there's a wait time and an energy that needs to be put into the process before the tree produces apples. So I think you understand what I'm saying. The other side of the message was that some of you are preparing to take holidays. So for some of you, once kids go back to school, you may be planning a trip, a longer trip, a shorter trip. But I saw some of you planning and preparing for holidays. And for some of you, it's a long overdue holiday. The next aspect I saw was the Eight of Wands in my mind. And when I see this particular image, it tells me that there is going to be fast movement in your world, at least for some of you, clearly not for all of you. The fast movement seems to be around career. So again, this could tie into the competition factor, which is why perhaps you feel like you need to get to something quite fast. But there's a fast movement with the energy of Eight of Wands. And it's something to do with a process. So maybe you are putting forth processes, or you are waiting for some process, or you are in the middle of some process, and this process is going to pick up speed. So for example, if you're applying for visa, that's what's coming to me. It's a lengthy process. For some reason, I see the energies picking up, so there is going to be a swift movement. So the process could be anything, but there is a fast-moving energy with this. For some of you, this signifies a move. I hear move across the country, move across town, or some of you would be moving across the globe, because I see plane, going over globe. So there, for some of you, clearly not for all of you, there is an element of move. Now, going with cards, interestingly enough, when I was shuffling cards, 3 cards popped out. 2 of them are major arcanas and 1 is a minor arcana. So I'm going to show you the cards. The first card is Patience or Temperance in reverse. The second card is Authority or the Emperor in reverse. And this is 4 of Swords or Rest and Rejuvenate. What is interesting here is, and I clearly felt to keep those 3 together. So what I felt is that in a month of September, for some of you in October, you will find yourself in a situation where you might be testy or tested. Now, what I mean by this is you may find yourself to have short temper. So this card, even though it says Patience, it is Temperance in reverse. It signifies lack of long-term planning, feeling rushed, feeling like you need to do something now. There is definitely a sense of imbalance here. I hear the word project, so I feel that some of this may be connected to a project that you are working on, and there is a level of frustration with it. And I feel like I need to get something done, but I feel like I'm not able to do so. What's interesting is that the next card that popped up was the Emperor in reverse or Authority. This card very much talks about, in this position, it's a great card. This is a leader. This is someone who is very balanced. They lead from the heart as well as their mind, not just from their ego. And this is someone who's very firm in their actions, but also open in the heart. This way, there is a certain sense of rigidity, and can also imply as someone who is not very not willing to listen. Things are a little bit of my way or highway. So there is a sense of rigidity with this. So what I would say here is that you watch out for tendencies to becoming too rigid because of something that is going on in your life, and it's making you tense and frustrated. Because the next card you have is a card of 4 of Swords, which is Rest and Rejuvenate. And I feel like I feel like what they're trying to say here is, if you're pushing so hard and nothing keeps turning out the way you want to, maybe it's time to pause, take a break, and just wait things out. So there's definitely a feel of you wanting to complete something, you wanting to get something fast, you wanting to accomplish something like now. And it's a bit like it's my way or highway, and I'm gonna get there, no matter what I have to do. But sometimes the energy may not be, what's the word I want to use? Ripe enough for you to get to the next step. So if you find yourself pushing on some aspect of your life, whether it be job, whether it be some sort of project, whether it be the competitive environment, whether it be pushing your significant other towards the next step, whatever it may be, something you're trying to push forward. If it's not happening, it is worthwhile for you to take a breather and take a bit of a time out. I'm hearing it might feel as a risk to you, but sometimes when we push too far and too quickly, things actually end up biting us in the butt. Alternative message is that you might be dealing with something. And when I get these cards, actually, for those of you who know me, I don't read cards the traditional way. I never learned how. I do read them my way, but not the traditional way. But I certainly don't see major arcana cards, people cards, as people. But in this case, what I'm actually being told to say is that you might have someone in your life who may appear to be very rigid and callous. Okay, this could be a male or female, it makes no difference. It is shown as a male, but it could be a female as well. And this could be a boss, this could be someone that you are working with, this could be someone you're trying to impress, this could be someone who you are deeming important, or someone who has a status, but they are not very flexible. And perhaps that's why you're trying to get something done, because this person is pushing you to get something done. So that's certainly a part of it. Again, it could be a boss, it could be significant other, it could be anyone in your environment that appears to be rigid or not indecisive, just rigid, and I almost want to say blindsided, a little bit of my way or highway. So that's an interesting message. I don't often get them that way, but that's the message here. Now, the next card you have, Colette's card, you have the card Time to Go, but the card is actually shown in reverse. So the message of this card is that there is something in your life right now that you are wanting to end. You are wanting to complete, you are wanting to put behind, you are wanting to finish, you are wanting to tie up whatever, tie it down, put a bow around it and push it away. What this is saying here is you're not quite done yet. And if you're thinking that you're just about done, you might find yourself in a situation where you either have to redo something, or you still need to learn a certain lesson from that experience. So again, this could apply to any situation. One of the things that I'm being shown is a couple, and you may be with someone who is quite rigid, quite dominant, quite inflexible, and all of a sudden I'm getting a stuckness in my throat. And maybe you are someone who is not very good at voicing your truth or voicing how you feel, and you might be wanting to finish this relationship, put it to an end. There's something about wanting to end something, but it seems like whatever it is, you're not quite done yet. Okay, and the reason for it is, again, because there is still something that you need to learn from. Okay, the alternative message of this card is that you have dealt with something in the past, but it's going to come back to you and it's going to look eerily similar. So it might come back to you under different circumstances, but the underlying feeling and energy is going to feel very similar. And it's almost like I hear you say, I thought I dealt with it. Why am I dealing with this again? And the message here is, if you find yourself in those shoes, it is because there is something you need to learn from that you haven't quite gotten the time prior. And that's okay. You are in a different place. You are in a different position in your life. You are in a different frame of mind, but there is still something you need to deal with that feels very familiar. The other card that I have is Ganesha cards, which is the card of innocence. And this is actually quite interesting because what this talks about is sometimes when we do things for so long, we lose the sense of what's important to us, and we lose the sense of wonderment, the sense of awe, the sense of exhilaration, like a child who's excited about anything. And as we get older, as we become adults with responsibilities, that tends to happen most of the time. What this message is saying here is, don't be so rigid in your thinking that you missed opportunities that are being shown or will be shown available to you. I hope this makes sense to you guys. This makes sense to you, because it seems a little bit incoherent, but oftentimes when I say that, some of you come back and say, oh my God, this is just me. This is so me. So this card talks about softening your edges. And if you are this person, if you are rigid, if you are stubborn, if you are becoming a little bit my way or highway because you're rushing things and you want things done and it's just go, 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 and you lose a sense of who you are, it's asking you to pause. Again, same message. And it's asking you to let your defenses down and allow the universe to help you. Now, this Ganesha is sitting in what looks like top of a mountain because he can see mountains here. There is this lavender softness around him. There's this aura of softness. The softness or the aura, the lavender, suggests that there's a gentle spiritual glow around this Ganesha, around this elephant, this Ganesha. It represents serenity. It represents innocence, as the card is. He's holding flowers. I believe these are lilies. This is a very spiritual aspect, and his hands or his arms are in a praying position. And basically, I believe his eyes are closed. They're half closed, which is symbolizing a contemplative state. So this card is about, the message is very much about slowing down and reorganizing your priorities, or reassessing your priorities, reassessing the way you approach things, and maybe notice some of the things that you have done up to this point. If you tried them if you look at doing those things from a different perspective, you might be able to reap greater rewards. So the message I get here is, there is a lot of possibility here for you to start fresh and start new. The number 4 represents structures, forms, brand new foundations. And I feel a lot of this has to do with letting your guard down and letting go of control. Some of you, this is also a very controlling person. In this way, this person is in control, but they're not controlling. There's no need for him to be controlling because he's very sure of himself. This position is a card of rigidity and also excessive control. So sometimes we control things because that's the only way we've known, but also because when we think we control things, life is less likely to go sideways. Well, that isn't necessarily the case, because if you really think about it, how many things do we really have control over? I mean, the only control we really have over is the way we act, react, or the way we react to the world outside of us. So rigidity is the word that's coming up over and over. Now, if you are going to find yourself in a competitive environment, be mindful that the phrase "over my dead body" is probably not the best attitude to adopt. So sometimes we can get very competitive and we lose track of everything around us, and we become blinded by what we are trying to accomplish, to the point that we end up stepping on other people. And sometimes we mean to do it because we don't care. Sometimes we don't mean to do it, but we're not even paying attention. And I feel like this message here is slow down. Respect yourself enough to have respect for others. And I'm not saying that you guys are disrespectful. That's not what I'm saying. But there's definitely a sense of hastiness and a certain sense of rigidity, of wanting to do things a certain way. But the universe is saying, wait a minute, if you always keep doing things this way, they may not give you the best reward. How about you drop your defenses and open your mind to different possibilities, so that we can come and help you and give you opportunities and ideas that perhaps you haven't thought of before. I am being shown the number 9 again. And I feel much of this has to do with ending a certain cycle. And I feel it has to do with ending a certain concept of the way you see yourself, and therefore the way you act and react to the world. So this is about ending how you do things, ending how you approach things, ending how you deal with people. There's ending in the way you view yourself, which then allows you to deal with people in a certain way. And this card representing that there's something you need to learn still. It may very well be that you've had similar experiences in the past, and it's going to come back to you again. And it's going to feel very familiar, because that's exactly what you need to learn. There's something about the way you relate to the world and other people that the universe says, if you only drop your defenses a bit, you will reap, your rewards will be far greater than what you can imagine. And you know, again, that can be externalized in different ways. This is kind of a big message without too many specifics, but I'm being shown an image of a balloon and letting go of something, and a lot of it has to do with letting go of hurt. Perhaps some of you are guarded, and this certainly is a person who is quite guarded. And if we are guarded, we will not allow ourselves to be fully available to others, and we will also appear to other people as unapproachable. And that can feel very rigid to those around us, because as you know, when you're with someone who is unapproachable, it's kind of awkward. It's not, the energy just doesn't flow. So if you find yourself in situations where that's coming back and you are very rigid because you're too guarded, the message here is relax. Allow yourself to adopt a different concept of yourself. Allow yourself to let go of some of the things that have been holding you back, or the things that have been keeping you guarded. The word guarded and rigid is through this entire theme. And allow yourself to get back to the innocence. Not saying childish, but childlike. Expect the best versus expecting the worst. The proverbial saying, always look at the glass half full versus glass half empty. And we do that because we're conditioned to do it that way, and because of our experiences and our hurt. But when we hold on to that for too long, it actually limits our possibilities of experiencing greatness. So, and then again, have faith in yourself. So I'm going to leave that with you. I hope this makes sense. If it does, please drop me a line. I'd love to read your comments. I read every single one. And of course, this is a general reading, so little pieces may apply to you, the whole thing may not apply to you, or it may not apply to you at all, which means listen to your other signs as well. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you in October. Have a wonderful September and take care. Bye.